and welcome to our program Where God Weeps. Today we have a special program for you, one in memory of a tragedy which occurred almost 1 year ago today. An earthquake, measuring 9.1 on the Richter scale, triggered a tsunami, the largest in recent history, with waves over 30 feet high that claimed the lives of 250,000 people. Today, the situation of the 10 countries affected is still dramatic. Those whose homes were washed away still find themselves in government shelters. Schools, hospitals, and churches damaged or destroyed still lie in ruins. Perhaps the greatest scars, however, lie on the hearts of the people, many so traumatized that they are still unable to go into the water. Let's watch now a report on the lingering after effects of the tsunami 1 year on.
It has been a year since the major earthquake that triggered the giant tsunami waves that devastated the coast of more than 10 countries along the Indian Ocean. Nearly 250,000 people in Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, Thailand, and other countries have lost their lives and millions left homeless in one of the worst natural disasters ever. Situated in the Bay of Bengal, about 1,200 kilometers to the southeast of mainland India, are the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, once a paradise, now in total ruin. The Andaman and Nicobar Island chain is made up of 576 islands, of which only 36 are inhabited. The worst affected islands include Little Andaman, Car Nicobar, the Nankorki group of islands, Cachao, and Great Nicobar. The Car Nicobar and Cachao Islands, which were all but flattened in the catastrophe, suffered the highest number of casualties. Great Nicobar, the closest among the Nicobar Islands to the tsunami epicenter, is now virtually desolate, with all buildings having been swept away. Islands like Kamorta, Cachao, and Trinket have geographically changed in their shapes and sizes. Trinket has been split apart into 2 islands. In the capital, Port Blair, vast areas of cultivable land have been swamped by seawater as a result of the tsunami waves that followed the earthquake. The seawater has not receded, and the acres of coconut and mangrove trees have been destroyed. Arable land once set aside for agriculture are now lakes for fishing. On Little Andaman, an island south of Port Blair, about 40% of the inhabited area has been totally destroyed. Estimates suggest that 10,000 people were displaced and up to 500 were killed. Many dead bodies were not recovered. Some were eaten by crocodiles living in a nearby creek not far from the villages. During the first 3 months, the victims lived in tents, after which they were then shifted to temporary shelters made of metal huts. 9 months later, they still remain in these uninhabitable temporary houses.
यहाँ सब प्रॉपर्टी प्रॉब्लम है, यहाँ में पानी नहीं है, ना रोड है, ना मेडिकल है, ना स्कूल है, ना खेलने का जगह मिलता, सब कुछ ही प्रॉब्लम है
जी। हम लोग को और भी इधर मेडिकल मांगता, स्कूल मांगता, यहाँ का बच्चा लोग को खेलने उलने को जगह मांगता, पढ़ने का मांगता, और कोई बीमार होने से मेडिकल जाने का हम लोग को बहुत मुश्किल है। मेडिकल का भी हम लोग को सुविधा मांगता।
गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से हम लोग को राशन मिलता है, सब कुछ मिलता है, कमांड की तरफ से अभी तो टेम्परेरी सेंटर बना दिया, इधर ज़रूरत चीज़ है तो हम लोग स्कूल चाहिए।
The living conditions in the temporary shelters are damp and unhygienic, and this displaced person face the possibility of living in these conditions for 2 more years before permanent houses are built. Unlike other affected countries, such as Thailand, where all the tsunami victims were given permanent houses, in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, rehabilitation and reconstruction has been slow. Due to the delays of the government in providing permanent housing, the administration continues to provide daily rations to those in the temporary shelters. This has become a considerable financial burden, with the unfortunate consequence that the locals have started to become reliant on the aid they receive, unable or unwilling to seek new means to sustain their own needs. For this reason, the government has decided to stop giving rations to encourage the locals to again become self-sufficient.
अभी तो ठीक है, लेकिन सुनता अभी बंद करने का है अक्टूबर महीने से कि हम लोग आगे क्या करेंगे। इधर तो शेल्टर बना दिया, कितना दिन से रहेंगे। परमानेंट शेल्टर का बात बोला था, वो भी कुछ अभी अरेंजमेंट नहीं हुआ। जो सुनामी में हम लोग का नाश हो गया सब कुछ, पहले की तरह तो नहीं है।
The government has also decreased the compensation for the victims. The latest unconfirmed reports estimates aid relief at less than €1 per family.
लड़का लोग का है जवान वाला है, लोग को काम करके कैसे भी कोई काम करके जी सकता है। मेरा तरह वाला तो कोई पीछे आगे कोई नहीं है। हमको एक छोटा बच्चा भी है। ये छोटा बच्चा हम कैसे खाएगा? हम काम करना नहीं सकता, हम बाहर में धूप में जाके काम करने के लिए मुश्किल है। इसी तरह फिर हम कैसे गुजारा करेगा? अगला महीने से वही हम पूछते हैं।
A lack of coordination between the different government offices and an imposition of severe restrictions on outside aid agencies in the relief operations has made the rehabilitation process very, very slow. Only the Catholic Church remains to carry out essential relief work. Soon after the disaster struck, Father Joseph Fernandez from Kolkata volunteered to remain on the Little Andaman Island to lead the Catholic relief effort. In 8 months' time, Father Joseph's team, identifying the basic need for water as first priority, has constructed 18 wells near the temporary shelter and throughout the inland villages around the island, providing the people fresh, portable water. Local people now fondly refer to him as the Waterman.
माननीय हमारे धर्माध्यक्ष अलेक्स डैक्स और उपस्थित हमारे यहाँ के हमारे कैथोलिक चर्च के ओर से ये नया डिग्गी हमारे फादर जोसेफ ने बहुत परिश्रम किया।
In Port Blair, the center of the Catholic Diocese, new boats were constructed for distribution to fishermen affected by the tsunami. To address post-tsunami trauma, the Catholic Church has organized psychosocial training programs for would-be counselors to aid in the healing process, particularly for the women and children most affected. Again, to provide a sense of dignity and normalcy, vocational training courses for women, such as dressmaking and embroidery, have been established. Due to the inability of the local church to financially support these initiatives, international Catholic charities such as Caritas and Aid to the Church in Need have played a vital role in sustaining these activities. Aid to the Church in Need has provided financial support for a number of relief activities, as well as the reconstruction of destroyed churches and mission houses, including the Catholic Church in Hut Bay. Despite efforts in bringing back normalcy to the lives of the people, the need for permanent housing has now become an urgent problem. It is likely that most of these victims will remain in temporary shelters until 2007, the earliest that the government estimates it can build permanent housing for the victims.
It took them about 3 months to just decide where and what kind of temporary shelters they were going to put up for the people. And that is the reason why even today, many of the people, most of the people are living in those temporary shelters. We haven't even started to put up permanent shelters. That is going to be a big decision which the government has to take, because the problem of allocation of land will come in there. Initially, the government seemed to be very, very slow. We had the impression that they were not at all prepared. They didn't have any kind of a crisis management team, perhaps. Then there was some change of guard and things began to get better. And now the cooperation has been all right, although we can always wish that it were better.
In addition to the hardship brought by the tsunami, there is increasing cause for disillusionment among the people of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The slow process of the government in responding to the needs of the people has made them feel even more abandoned and helpless.
They are coping up with
A lot of fears of the future.
but I always experience and admire their hope for a future. They haven't lost that in spite of losing everything. Hope enlivened them.
It is said that hope dies last. However, for many of those on these abandoned islands, even hope is starting to flicker. Linked through an invisible chain of suffering, the inhabitants of Sri Lanka, an island lying to the southwest of the Andamans, share the same suffering and efforts to reconstruct following the aftermath of the merciless tsunami. Sri Lanka, known for its rich culture and abundant flora and fauna, is now a picture of devastation. The day the giant wave struck, the whole nation wept in desolation and anguish. Within 20 minutes, 31,000 people lost their lives, 5,500 were missing, and 119,000 people were left homeless. The districts of Jaffna, Batticaloa, and Galle were the worst affected. In the Galle district alone, nearly 10,000 people died, 2,000 were missing, and 23,000 were left homeless. In Tolwata, a small village in Galle, a commuter train was washed away by the waves, killing 1,600 passengers and 371 villagers who rushed inside the train seeking refuge.
ඊට පස්සේ නැගලා ටිකක් වෙලා ඉන්නකොට දෙවෙනි රැල්ලෙත් ආවා. ඊපස්සේ කෝච්චිය පෙරලා ටිකක් වතුරත් එක්කම ගහගෙන ගියා. ඊට පස්සේ වතුර අපි කෝච්චිය පෙරළුන තැන වතුර තිබ්බේ නෑ.
Hambantota, a Muslim-dominated area in Galle, had the highest number of casualties in the whole district. In one village alone, approximately 260 houses were totally washed out, dragging hundreds of dead bodies to a nearby lagoon. 2,001 unidentified bodies were buried in one of the mass graves in Nilumpath Villa alone. Minutes after the tsunami hit the coast, several institutions responded generously, reaching out to help the thousands of victims. Medical support, food, household utensils, and tents were provided. But life in a camp is a struggle for most. For the first few months, there was no source of drinking water for the victims. The Catholic Church in Sri Lanka provided water tanks and temporary toilets. However, basic amenities as well as electricity were still non-existent in some areas. The tsunami not only tore apart families, it resulted in the loss of the income for thousands of Sri Lankans. In order to help locals re-establish their livelihood, the church has provided new boats, fishing nets, and other diving equipment to Sri Lankan fishermen. Microloans were given to small traders to resume their occupations. Small business enterprises for women, such as dressmaking and coconut coir making, have been organized. In various districts, communities are being supported under a cash for work program. Men and women have been employed in ground clearance and the construction of roads and temporary shelters. Although a year has passed, the inhabitants still suffer as if the tragedy were yesterday. Maureen Pereira, 30, lost 9 members of her family.
බාල වෑන් එකෙන් ඉස්කෝලේ ගියේ. ඉතින් දැන් මට ඉන්කම් එකක් නැහැ. ජීවත් වෙන්න විදියක් නැහැ. මට චර්ච් එකෙන් උදව් කරනවා ෆාදර්. දැනට ඒකෙන් තමයි මම ජීවත් වෙන්නේ. මට මේ චර්ච් එකට එන මැල්කම් සහ එයාගේ නෝනා මට හැම දෙයකටම උදව් වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම පල්ලියේ ෆාදර්ත් මට උදව් කරනවා. ඒ වුණාට ඉතින් ගොඩාක් හිතේ අමාරුවෙන් තමයි මම ඉන්නේ. I want my 2 children and I want my husband.
In Gaul, the Catholic Church plans to build 4,500 houses with the aim of completing 300 houses by the end of this year. To encourage the people and extend support, the bishop visits each new construction site twice and gives a blessing to the whole family for their new life.
මට ගොඩක් සතුටුයි. මට ගොඩක් සතුටු දවසක් අද. ඇත්තටම අපේ පල්ලියෙන් මේ වගේ මට නිවහනක් ලැබීම මට ඒක අමතක කරන්න බෑ ජීවිතේ. මගේ ගෙදර කැරණු වෙලාවේ අම්මලා ගොඩක් අසරණ වෙලා හිටියේ. ඒ වෙලේ මම කල්පනා කරා මෙතන පොඩි කාමරයක් හරි ගහලා අම්මලා ගෙන්න ගන්න ඕන කියලා.
Although the Catholic Church has received aid from the government and different donors, a majority of funds was spent on immediate relief operations. A year on, the local church has requested charities such as Aid for the Church in Need to help rebuild the pastoral centers such as schools, orphanages, seminaries, and churches, including the Church of Our Lady of Matara.
I should thank the international community for coming forward to help Sri Lanka, and in particular to the church in need, especially coming forward to assist our church. The tsunami money was spent purely for those affected people. So therefore, in this situation, church in need has contributed immensely for the welfare of the church in Sri Lanka.
On the feast day of the Church of Our Lady of Matara, the statue of the Blessed Mother, a victim of the tsunami herself, was reinstated in her rightful place. The statue was washed away by the waves and found 3 days later about 500 meters away from the church. The statue was in perfect shape except for a broken wrist of the baby Jesus. Aside from the parishioners, Buddhist monks, students and teachers of a nearby Buddhist school come to participate in the preparation for the feast.
එතනදී ඒ යන ගමන් මගේදී අපි දෙගොල්ල සුහදතාවයෙන් මේ විදිහට කටයුතු කරනකොට අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන අපි දෙපැත්තෙම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන ඒ සදාචාර සම්පන්න සමාජයක් ගොඩනගන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපි නිරන්තරයෙන් මේ පල්ලියට ඇවිල්ලා මේ සඳහා අපි ඒ පියතුමත් සමග කතා බහ කරනවා. නිරන්තරයෙන් අපි වෙන පියතුමත් අපේ පන්සලට ගිහිල්ලා අපිත් එක්ක නිරන්තරයෙන් කතා බහ කරන මොනවද කරන්න ඕන කියලා ඒ උදව් උපදව් කරනවා.
The tsunami has not only rekindled the spirit of giving, but it has brought people of different religions together. The Catholic Church in Sri Lanka initiated interreligious activities by providing assistance to the Muslim and Buddhist communities for the construction of toilets and provision for household amenities. The church also helped in the reconstruction of Buddhist temples and schools.
කතෝලික සභාව පිළිබඳව විශේෂයෙන්ම සතුටටපත් වෙනවා. ඒ සුනාමි අවස්ථාවේදී අර ඉන්න පුළුවන් පරිසරයක් නොතිබිච්ච නිසා විශේෂයෙන් මේ සංඝාවාස ගොඩනැගිලි දෙකත් ඒ වගේම දහම් පාසල සඳහා මේ තුම්මහල් ගොඩනැගිල්ලත් හරිගස්ස දීම පිළිබඳ විශේෂයෙන් සතුටටපත් වෙනවා මේ අවස්ථාවේ. ගමේ මිනිස්සුත් විශේෂයෙන්ම සතුටටපත් වෙනවා මේ දහම් පාසලක් වෙනුවෙන් ගමේ ළමයි වෙනුවෙන් මේ ගොඩනැගිල්ලේ දහම් පාසල් කටයුතු පවත්වාගෙන යාම සඳහා ඒ ගොඩනැගිල්ල තනවා දීම පිළිබඳව ගමේ අයගෙත් විශාල සතුටක් තියෙනවා. මමත් විශේෂයෙන්ම සතුටටපත් වෙනවා ගමේ ළමයි වෙනුවෙන් ඒ දහම් පාසල පවත්වාගෙන යාම සඳහා මේ වගේ වියදමක් කරලා මේ ගොඩනැගිල්ල ලබා දීම පිළිබඳව මගෙත් සතුටටපත් වෙනවා.
Tsunami has brought us also some positive results. That is bringing the Christians, the Buddhists and the Muslims together. Particularly the hierarchy, the priests, the clergy coming together is a new beginning for Sri Lanka.
Although most of the countries affected by the tsunami received aid from all around the world, experience has revealed that recovery is not limited to the improvement of living conditions and the re-establishment of livelihoods. Healing is that the victim is able to start to dress the wounds inflicted on the heart, and with this to once again lift the head and consider the horizon. Niluka, 26, lost 7 people of her family to the sea. For about 7 months after the incident, she would not speak to anyone.
අම්ම නෑ ගෙදර හිටියේ ඔක්කොම ටික නැති වුණයි කියලා මට එහෙම ඉඳන් කියලා තාත්තා කිව්වා දුවේ අපි ඔක්කොම ඉවරයි කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ මං කෑ ගහලා ඇඬුවායින් පස්සේ ඊට පස්සේ මේ එයාලා අපි ගිහිල්ලා එතන තට්ටු දෙකේ බිල්ඩින් එකක් තිබුණා ඒ හරියට නැගලා හිටියා. ඉතින් ඒ වෙලාවේ මට දැන් මං ඉතින් කල්පනා කරා අම්මා අපට අම්මට එච්චර වයසකුත් නෑ අම්මා නැතුව මොකටද කියලා අම්මා තමයි අපේ හැම දෙයක්කටම පිහිට වෙන්න හිටියේ. මට දෙවියන් කෙරෙහි කිසිම තරහක් කිසිම දෙයක් ඇති වුණේ නෑ. මේ හැම දෙයක්ම මම සතුටින් බාරගත්තා. අපිට ඉතින් වෙන කරන්න දෙයක් නෑ. මං හැම දෙයක්ම සතුටින් බාරගත්තා. අපි එන විදියට ජීවිතේට මුහුණ දෙනවයි කියලා හැම දෙයක්ම හිත සතුටින් බාරගත්තා හැමදේම.
Niluka's faith and the support of the church has helped her to start to overcome the trauma.
Last 7 months she was not responding to anybody. She even neglected her child. Very quiet she became. So it was very difficult to really help her. Every Sunday she continued to come to church and then she got pain in the heart. And after mass every day she cried. So after that only I was doing some kind of healing that I have learned. And after that healing it helped her.
Each finds solace and healing in their own way. The social background, culture and beliefs of the victims play an important role in the healing process. Velukrishna Tirukumara, 29, was attending Mass with his family at the Our Lady of Matara Church when the tidal wave struck. He lost his wife and 3 children. Today, only his faith grants him a measure of peace.
இப்போ எதுக்காக என்ன வச்சுருக்க சொல்ல முடியாது. ஆனால் இப்போ எனக்கு நம்பிக்கை என் அப்பா என் குழந்தைங்களையும் என் சம்சாரத்தையும் உனக்கு இதை எல்லாம் காப்பாற்ற கஷ்டம் நான் வச்சுருக்கிறேன். ஆனால் நீ எப்போ சரி என்கிட்ட நீயும் வரப்போகிற அது வரக்காட்டி நான் அவனை குழந்தையும் சம்சாரம் எல்லாரையும் வச்சுருக்கிறேன். நீ என்னை நம்பி இருந்தண்டா உன்னை எனக்கு ஒரு நம்பி பைபிள் கூறிருக்காரு என்ன நம்புனா ஒரு நாளும் நான் உன்னை கைவிட மாட்டேன்னு சொல்லியிருக்காரு ஆண்டவர்.
It took him almost 9 months before he could speak out, to gather the courage to look at the sea. This is Kumara's first time to walk along the beach. In the midst of darkness and destruction, signs of a new hope and a new beginning are visible in the hearts of the Sri Lankan people.
This will give a new hope where people come together to pray, and this will be a good experience for the other people to understand that we have a life to live and we have a loving God. God is not a punishing God, and to experience the love of God and to start our life and not to forget the message that gave to us that we are one human family.
If there is anything positive that the tsunami has brought, it is that a people of different religion, race, and cultures have been brought closer to God and each other.
The attention of this world is so quickly and easily distracted. The Church, instrumental in helping the survivors of the tsunami, still needs your help. Please call or write us at the contact information presented at the end of this program. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time on our program, Where God Weeps.